Hello, this video is on solving quadratic equations by factoring. This is the second method that you will learn about solving quadratics. Okay, so just to quickly review, what does it mean to solve a quadratic equation? So it's important that when you hear someone say solve a quadratic equation, you understand that that means that we are always trying to find the x-intercepts. Now, we do have multiple names for x-intercepts like we talked about before. So like you might hear them called roots or zeros, but when we solve a quadratic, we're trying to find the x-intercepts. So for this graph, I highlighted the x-intercepts in pink, so my solutions to that quadratic would be x being -1 and 5, because those are my x-intercepts. Alright, so far we know two methods. Yesterday we learned how to solve by graphing. Today we will learn how to solve by factoring, and then there are three more we will learn after spring break. Okay, so some examples. It says solve y equals x squared minus 7x plus 12. Okay, so this whole video is on solving by factoring. Hopefully when you hear the term factoring, you think back to some strategies that we learned about back in January when we first learned how to factor things. So all of our examples here are going to be trinomials, which means we can set up a diamond and box to help us solve by factoring. So now, first thing I would do is check for a GCF. There isn't one here. So I can move into filling in my diamond and box right away. So if I fill in the top part, I would get 12. Let's make that a little skinnier so I can write more. 12x squared, and then at the bottom I get -7x. So what multiplies to give me 12x squared, but adds to give me -7x, -4x and -3x would work. Then I'll fill in my box, so I'll have x squared here, 12 here, and then I have -4x and 3x. And then from there I'm going to work my box backward to get x squared. Can only be x and x. To get the -4x, I'd have to take x times a -4 to get, oops, this should be a -3, I almost missed that. That should be a -3. Okay, so here are my factors. So if I rewrite this equation, I get y equals x minus 4 and x minus 3. Now if we think back to, again, solving quadratic means we're finding the x-intercepts. Well, when we're finding x-intercepts, that means y is always equal to 0. So instead here, I'm going to replace this with a 0. So I'm going to have 0 equals x minus 4 and x minus 3. So really I'm saying I need to make either this parenthesis equal to 0 or this parenthesis equal to 0. So what I do is I set up two equations. I would have 0 equals x minus 4. That's one possibility, is if I make that first parenthesis 0, or I could make the second parenthesis 0. Either way, as long as I make one of them 0, it makes the whole thing 0. So I solve this one, I would add 4, add 4. So one solution is going to be 4 is equal to x, so x is 4. And then this one, I would add 3, and then I get x equals 3. So my solutions here, so solutions to this quadratic equation are x equals 4 and 3. Some of you guys maybe don't need to show your work here and can do some of that in your head, and that is okay. Alright, let's look at another example. Again, I would check for a GCF first. No GCF here, so I end up with 6, oops, that's a little messy. Let's put 6x squared up top. So 6x squared, and then I have 5x in the bottom. So it's going to multiply to give us 6x squared, but add to give us 5x. 3x and 2x would work great. Let's fill in our box. We get x squared here, 6 here, 3x and 2x. Again, this has to be x and x. To get 2x, I have to multiply by 2, and 3x and multiply by 3. So now I know my equation in factored form is y is equal to x plus 2 and x plus 3. Again, I'm remind myself when I'm solving a quadratic, that means I make y 0. So I get 0 is equal to x plus 2 times x plus 3. And then I'm going to split this into my two equations. So I get 0 is equal to x plus 2 and 0 is equal to x plus 3, and solve each of them. So here I'd subtract 2, get negative 2 is equal to x. Here I would subtract 3, and I get negative 3 equals x. So my solutions here, so I'm going to do solutions, are x equals negative 2 and negative 3. Those are my solutions. That is what makes y equal to 0. Okay, let's try another one. Y equals 4x squared minus 9. No GCF here. This one looks a little bit different though when I look at it. Normally, if we have a trinomial, we have y equals ax squared plus bx plus c. So here, I don't have a bx here, so that's important to note. So let's see. That means we're going to just have negative 36x squared here. Remember a times c, and 0x here because there's no b term. So it's going to multiply to negative 36x squared but add to 0x, 6x, and negative 6x will work. So here I will have 4x squared, negative 9, 6x, and negative 6x there. Now to get 4x squared, I can do 1x and 4x, or 2x and 2x. If I try, let's say I do 1x and 4x, this 4x won't multiply nicely into negative 6x. So I know I need to try something else there. So let's do 2x and 2x. 2x times a minus 3 gives me negative 6x, and 2x times a positive 3 gives me positive 6x. So now my equation is y equals 2x minus 3 and 2x plus 3. I'm going to change this. Alright, for this example, I would encourage you to pause the video and try it on your own, and then come back and check it afterwards. So go ahead and do that now. Alright, so hopefully you're coming back now just to follow through and check your work. Always check for a GCF first. No GCF here, so I'll set up my diamond. I get negative 24x squared here, 5x here. So I need to figure out what multiplies to give me negative 24x squared but adds to give me 5x. That could be 8x and negative 3x. Fill in my box, 6x squared goes here, negative 4 here, and then I'll have an 8x and a negative 3x. So if I'm kind of looking at my box as a whole, for the 6x squared, I could use 1x and 6x or 3x and 2x. I'm going to go with 3x and 2x because that'll work better with the negative 3x and 8x I have here. So I'm going to do 3x and 2x, and then 3x times negative 1 will give me negative 3x, and 2x times 4 will give me 8x. So now I can rewrite my equation in factored form. It'd be y equals 2x minus 1 times 3x plus 4. And now I need to set each binomial equal to 0 to find my solutions. So I get 0 equals 2x minus 1, 0 equals 3x plus 4, and I'm going to solve each of those. So on the left one, I would add 1, get 1 equals 2x, and divide by 2. So I get x is equal to 1/2. On the right, I would subtract 4. I have negative 4 equals 3x, and then divide by 3. So I get x is equal to negative 4/3. These are my two solutions. Thanks for watching.